My name is Nick Baker and I'm standing at the bus stop at Church Road in Laverstock, and behind me is the productive agricultural field which Wiltshire Council has identified as suitable for the construction of 50 houses. I believe this proposal is fundamentally wrong. Building on this site will cut off our village's connection to its landscape, leading to just one long line of houses from Salisbury all the way to St Thomas's Bridge. We all know the traffic chaos we see on Church Road at the start and end of every school day. In the local plan, Wiltshire Council identifies Laverstock as a small village because most people have to get in a car to access doctors, dentists, pharmacists, even having a haircut. Building more houses here will add to the traffic chaos and the climate crisis when there are better locations within this parish and in Salisbury City, where 3 brownfield sites were ignored by Wiltshire Council. The good news is it's not too late to have your say. The local plan is out to public consultation, and all of those responses which are received will be reviewed by an independent planning inspector in a legal process. Because that's quite a formal process, in this video I'm going to give you my personal and unofficial guide to the best way to take part in that consultation and to make your views known. The best place to find information and to engage with the consultation is on Wiltshire Council's website. I've just done a simple Google search for Wiltshire Local Plan Consultation, and that's put the page we need right at the top, but I'll also post a link underneath this video. So when you go on to the consultation, there's lots and lots of information here, and it can feel a bit daunting, but please don't let that put you off. The best way to respond, and the way Wiltshire want you to do it, is on the consultation portal. So that's what I'm going to focus on for the rest of this video. But if you don't find that works for you, you can email or post a form, and there's a link here to download the form which you can fill in, and the form looks like this. Or even if you wanted to, the key things are that you give your name and address, and you state that you want to comment on policy 30. And if you felt you just wanted to do that on an old-fashioned letter, you can do that as well if you want to. All of the information is on here on the website, or contact me if you need any help accessing that. So when we click on the consultation portal, it takes you to a complete version of the whole plan, which is a long document. There's lots of interesting things in it, and I would encourage you to, if you're interested in how our community develops, to read through all of it. There's some good stuff in here, stuff about how we can have more sustainable zero carbon homes in the future, how we can deal with climate change. So it's not all bad things, and it's not all about Church Road by any means. But today I'm just going to focus on Church Road, and for this video I'm going to focus on possible objections, because everybody who's contacted me is wanting to object and is concerned. But obviously other views are welcome, and you can reverse a lot of what I'm saying if you wanted to say something in support of it. So I'm just going to focus on the Church Road section, and what we're looking at there is the area strategies. So you can click on this left link here and go straight to the area strategies, and then click on the arrow again for the Salisbury housing market area, and then for the Salisbury principal settlement. And we're trying to get down to policy 30. So now just on the right, I'm just going to use my mouse or click on the link there just to scroll down to policy 30. You'd almost think they're trying to make it a bit fiddly to take part in this, but I wouldn't say that. So I'm just going to scroll down to policy 30. You might want to look at any of the others as well. There's all sorts of interesting stuff about Old Sarum and other places, but here we are. Here is policy 30, land east of Church Road, Laverstock, and that's what we're talking about. So to add a comment here to the about what you think about, is that site suitable for 50 dwellings, you click here to add a comment. If you're using the paper form, will answer in exactly the same way, but just using the paper form instead. So the first thing it asks you to do is fill in your details. So once I've filled in my details and I've agreed to the terms and conditions and the privacy policy, I can click on next and get into the consultation itself. So You are wanting to make a representation, if you're talking about Church Road, about a policy, and it's policy 30. So we can see that on the left hand of the screen. And again, this is my personal opinion. Feel free to put what you want. Do you consider the local plan is legally compliant? Well, I'm not an expert lawyer. I think Wiltshire have done all the hurdles they need to go through. So I am going to comment yes on that. But it's a mandatory field. I've got to say something. Do I think it is sound? No, I don't. Just to explain that a bit more, on the consultation website, if we scroll down a little bit, Wiltshire have put some instructions on there about how you can take part in the consultation. So one of the things they talk about are the tests of soundness, and this is the legal term which we need to use. And so, is it sound? And within soundness, there's 4 different grounds, and the key one is justified. Is it an appropriate strategy, taking into account the reasonable alternatives and based on proportionate evidence? And that's where I think Church Road falls down. I think that there are better alternatives, and I don't think they've considered the evidence of all the problems to do with that site. So I'm going to say in my submission that I don't think their Wiltshire local plan is sound. Well, it has policy 30 in it, because it's not justified. So going back to, so I'm going to say I don't think it's sound. Again, I'm not worried about the duty to cooperate, and my reason for saying it's not sound is it's not justified. Now, here is where you need to bring in your own personal opinions as well. But the 3 things for me, which I think are the key reasons why I think that the policy is unsound, is, and these are backed up by the advice which the parish council has received from a barrister who's a planning expert, are to do with, first of all, the issue of the fact that Laverstock is a small village without many facilities. These aren't my words. These are from the local plan itself. The local plan talks about small villages, and it says we've designated 148 across Wiltshire, and they can only accommodate modest development. And later on they say that's less than 20 houses. And that's because of the low level of service and facilities in the small village. So it is inherently contradictory for Wiltshire to define Laverstock as one of those 148 small villages with low levels of service and facility, and then to say that we are going to propose putting 50 houses there. It contradicts itself. So small village is going to be one of my key points. The second one for me is about the landscape. And again, there's good evidence to support that. There is a landscape sensitivity assessment which was carried out as part of the neighbourhood plan, which says that this is a medium to high sensitivity area, and that again is backed up by Wiltshire's own evidence in their sustainability assessment. And more importantly for me, it's about the fact that that site is what connects Laverstock still into its landscape. It means that it isn't just this constant row of houses, but we are set into the landscape. So I'm going to comment on that. And lastly, I am going to comment on the transport issues and the problems we've all experienced on that road, and how having those extra 50 houses on there will make that worse. So those are the 3 main areas. But please do feel free to add any other concerns, any other issues which you've got. Now, the next bit is where you get really techy. It depends how much time you want to put into this. In the documents, Wiltshire have included a detailed sustainability assessment, and you can scroll down to the other supporting documents and you can find their sustainability assessments in there. They're very long documents, and you need to search for policy 30 and you'll see the different grounds which they've assessed how suitable is this site. I've just summarised here the different aspects they look at: biodiversity, efficient use of land, climate change, historic environment, landscape, housing needs, economy. And on all the factors which Wiltshire looked at, there was altogether 6 where they said there was a significantly adverse impact on sustainability if we build houses there. There were 2 more with a minor adverse impact. There were only 2 minor positive impacts on 1 significant positive impact. And I don't actually agree with the way they've assessed that, because they've talked about meeting housing need for all types of housing and all different types of tenure. In other words, things like affordable housing and social rent housing. Yet our experience has always been that small developments of 50 houses tend to be mainly 3 and 4 bedroom semis, no affordable housing or very little, because the developers say, oh, it's not viable. So I don't think it's going to deliver any of the positives, and it's already showing that the negative impacts outweigh significantly the positives. And that's why, on Wiltshire's own assessment again, this site is towards the bottom of the least sustainable of the sites they're proposing. So you may want to comment on that if you want to spend time just to dig into the documents, but don't feel you have to. By the time you've commented on the initial part of that, you've done the main thing. Here's an important bit though. The whole point of this process is to make the local plan sound. And the local plan's about much more than Church Road. So the argument about is, how can we make the local plan sound? And the simple answer is by deleting policy 30. If they take that policy out of the plan, then we would suggest the local plan becomes sound. Up to you if you would like to seek to participate in person in the independent examination and put your views personally before the planning inspector. The parish council will definitely be doing that on behalf of local residents, but if you want to do that and you've got a reason why you would like to be able to do that, feel free to say that. Then you get the choice to be notified in person by Wiltshire of what's going on. I'll do my best to keep you in touch, but please do that if you want to follow what's going on. And then a chance to submit supporting documents. Do think about if you've got photos of traffic chaos on Church Road, or if you've got photos of some of the wildlife you see in that field, or other things which you think help support what you're saying, please do upload those as well. And then click complete. And that's the job done. Good luck, and I hope that together we can really make a good case for why we need to protect that site.